again, everyone. Welcome back to Eastern Shore Talk, your podcast for all things self-care and movies. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're glad to have you. This is episode 66. I'm Jay Watson,
And I'm Cathy Castle.
and we are actually coming to you a couple days earlier. We're recording on a Saturday morning because I'm about to head out on vacation down to the beach in Ocean City, so we're recording a couple days early. So this is a little weird. We're going to talk about vacations and all things that how we perceive vacations and how vacations fit into the world of self care and that kind of thing. So yeah, we're gonna do that before I head out on vacation, and we're gonna release this a couple days early for you guys. So, Kathy, what's been going on with the Castle?
Well, if anybody's watching by video right now, take note. I'm being very vulnerable. I am fresh, not showered, and Jay looks the same no matter what. He pops out of bed, looking the same 24/7, and I'm very
I can't have a bad hair day.
I have a bad hair day, I have a bad face day, but here I am in all my vulnerability, and I don't care.
And,
So
yeah, go ahead.
I was like, Castle. I'm going to say it again. Another week. It's another milestones are happening, right? Every week. Eventually, I'm going to say I had the most boring, non-eventful week. I'm going to say it soon. It's going to happen. But this week is, drum roll, the oldest settled on a new house yesterday. So we spent time and a whole lot of money. I'll say that. Walmart, Lowe's, Target, they're all very happy with this move.
Yeah,
But
house prep stuff. Yeah.
dang. Yeah, so we've been I shouldn't say I've been painting. I have not been painting, but family members are all painting for them, and I'm buying toilet seats and pantry supplies,
Essentials. Yeah.
trying to help set up a house, which is it's a lot.
So
So there we go. So that's what we've been doing. Another week, another milestone. 2-week countdown to the big wedding. And yeah, 2 weeks, 1 month to my vacation. So I'm not there where you are, but I'm probably gonna need it.
So is he staying right here in Easton? You don't have to tell me exactly where, but yeah.
He is okay. So people will make fun of me as I make my Facebook post about my broken motherly heart. Like I'm happy for him, but I'm sad that my house isn't full of bedrooms aren't full. Okay, now here's where you can make fun of me. Da-da-da, move next door.
He's in the neighborhood.
Move next door. But
he's walking distance.
he is. But it was so cute last night. While they're painting, my dad was in there, and my daughter-in-law to be's mom helped paint yesterday, and my dad and Marty and the boys. But anyway, I was like, I'm gonna go cook on the Blackstone. I am really have my male qualities. I like to grow. I like to cook on my Blackstone. So I'm outside cooking, and then I hear his voice from across the fence. He's like, Mom, that smells so good. And I was like, is that how the dinner bell's going to go here from now on? I cook, smells and steam come up, and he's going to follow.
So is he literally next door?
Literally next door, which I know that I'm lucky. I know from the mom underground, I'm very lucky. Yeah.
So yeah, when we talked about the transition, like it's going to be less of a transition than even what we were talking about before. Because remember how I said he'll probably be over there more often, except for he won't sleep there. So that's really going to be the case probably for a while, and understandably so. For both sides, for his side and for the rest of you. And that's just kind of
And I'm so proud of him. I told him yesterday, I was like, you've checked all the boxes. You're doing this right. He never, and I'm not. If somebody else didn't do, I'm not knocking how people do things because everybody has their own path. But he saved his money, didn't rent. He was fortunate enough not to have to rent. So he saved his money and he could buy a house. And he got his degree. He didn't do it the same path as everybody else, but he got it. And he got a job and got established at the bank. And I just feel really proud for him for his accomplishments. And I think it's hard for kids, it's just hard. I feel like it's really hard for kids. And I only know boy kids. I don't know girl kids. But, there's so much pressure about what do you want to be when you grow up? And you have to do this and you have to do that. And it's like, you know what? It's on your time frame. If you graduate at 22 from college or you graduate at whatever age, it doesn't matter,
I'm sure, Kathy, I can almost guarantee that it's more difficult now for young folks that are moving out on their own financially than it was
Oh
when we did it.
gosh, yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes. It is so
so
expensive for them,
yeah,
and discouraging. I can see it, so Marty and I haven't done, we do things our way, which isn't how other families I'm sure would do them. My kids went to community college, which saved them a lot of money, saved all
right,
of us a lot of money, and then we've chosen to put our money into helping them with the house route and things, and with some school. But anyway, because I don't know how I don't know how these kids are going to launch, and our goal was, I didn't want them strapped with big student loans, because how do you ever
yeah,
get out of that?
yeah.
So I'm fortunate 3 out of 4 have graduated college with no student loans, and they've worked very hard, and I'm very proud of that for them. Proud of them.
Well, Kathy, you and Marty should be proud as well because and I've told you this before, both here and privately. Like your four boys are just good kids. This just they're all around.
Thank-
They're not perfect. Nobody's kids are perfect,
Right.
but yet, I mean,
And we're not either.
I've been around all of them in varying degrees, and they're all just good, solid kids. They're going to be good members of the community. Um, but you guys have steered them in that direction, and given them you know little tips about how to do their money and all that kind of stuff, and have enabled them to kind of pick that up and move forward and carry that with
Yeah.
them. Now with Brennan, literally on his own with his wife, his new wife to be. Um, so hats off to you, Marty, for you know setting them off in a positive
I
way.
appreciate that. Thank you. We're trying. We're not perfect, but we'll get there.
I mean, no, look, I'm not a parent, and if I had ever been a parent, I would have made my share of mistakes like every parent did.
And you still
Um,
washed your hair, even though you didn't have the stress of parenting.
I was just doomed by genetics, but by that's just another way my family kind of messed me up. So I went through all that and then lost my hair when I was older.
I know, but at least you can sport it well. Not everybody can. At
It's funny,
least,
Kathy. I was watching a movie or something. They were somehow a scenario with someone balding when they were younger came up, and the question was, well, like someone older that was bald said, if you offered me hair back, I wouldn't take it now because just this is who I am.
yeah,
I started to lose my hair so young. I actually started noticing when I got the buzz cut when I went in the Navy, and
yeah,
I could see my hairline was so far back here. But all the kids back then, as you know, had the like big Dutch painter boy hair. So it was big. It was like
yeah.
it was. So you didn't notice where your hairline was. You could never
Right,
see it.
right.
So when I got my hair buzzed for the Navy, my hairline was like up here,
You
and I was
said,
like, oh. And of course, my mom's side, like all her brothers and all they
yeah.
all were bald. So
That's
you
such
know, I,
genetics.
it's
Like,
just kind of I'm just it sucks when you start losing your hair when you're young. I will say, and again, everyone kind of has their own way, and there's not a right or wrong. But I've kind of I used to have people say, well, why don't you take this and do Rogaine or do hair? And none of that stuff ever really occurred to me. I'm sure at first it bothered me because I was so young when I started losing my
yeah,
hair. Um, but it's like and then I kind of rocked the hair on the sides because that's all I
yeah.
had. And I'm just like, this kind of looks ridiculous. So I just, one day I just decided I got rid of it all. And I'm just, good gosh, Kathy, that was probably 20 or 25 years ago when I just went full bald. It's
Well,
been
you
that
wear
long.
it well. I think you wear it well.
You're
You have
not,
nice, you have nice
I,
shaped hair.
I am lucky enough to have a decent enough shaped head where I can,
Yes.
yeah. So, my head, I was blessed in the head shape department, but not in the hair growth department.
Yeah, and the positioning of all your eyes and nose, nothing's out
Yeah,
of
I'm
sync. Like you
symmetrical. Yeah,
say.
I'm proportional. Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
I kind of look like Mr. Potato Head, but that's okay.
Oh my gosh.
So my check-in. This whole episode is going to kind of be my check-in because
Yeah, right? This is all
we're
about Jay.
yeah we're recording this on a Saturday morning early. Well, not early, but early for us to
Yeah.
record.
We're
Um,
we're evening casters.
yeah, this so we're doing this ahead of time so I can get this released to you guys before I leave Monday morning to go to Ocean City. It's kind of my yearly ritual. And it's funny, Cathy, I was thinking about this. It kind of came about the same way the movie Ritual came about,
Hmm.
literally the same way. It was a tool where when I went through my breakup and I was trying to navigate, and I'm like, let me just go away and kind of get my mind off things for a week, and it was just the very first year I did it was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. It was kind of spur of the moment. I didn't, I may have said, may have booked my hotel maybe a month ahead, maybe. So, I was just kind of say, hey, let's just start this, and it's kind of evolved into something that I like. It's I do 2 vacations a year. I do this one down at the beach, and then I do a stay-at-home staycation kind of thing at the holidays, which is a much bigger period chunk of time. But it's kind of it's something that I'd really look forward to, and how I perceive my vacation has evolved as I've kind of gone through my journey to getting into a better headspace in my life. And whereas now I certainly look forward to it, no question, but it's not the end all be all as far as I don't count down the days. So like I'm like I don't dread my life to a point where I'm like I can't wait to get away from my life for a week. I heard somebody say a long time ago, live a life that you don't need to take a vacation from. And that
Mm,
makes so much
mm-mm.
sense to
I don't
me.
agree with that. I don't
Um,
agree with that necessarily.
Now, because I think there's a difference between going on vacation because you want to get away from what's you know all these bad things. And there's going on vacation because there's a place that you really enjoy, and you're going there to relax. They're two different to me. They're two different things. If you're like running away from X, Y, and Z, that's one thing. But if you're like, I'm going to go have some time off and reset, da da da, and you're doing it for self care and for that kind of thing, to me, that's different. In other words,
Well,
the point of them saying that was don't dread like your job and don't dread that stuff. You can control that. Yes, take the vacation for all the right reasons, not because
yeah, I agree.
you can't wait to get away from the things that you can choose to make better and you're not making better. If that makes sense to you.
I agree. Well, you want to hear something funny? I don't
Sure.
know if I'm pausing. Are you hearing me okay?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I think my audio is or my video is lagging a little bit. Um, guess what? There's a term for you. There's a term for the Jay Watson travel. Can you believe
Okay.
it? It's called solo travel for self-care.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing. Like
Yeah.
we thought, but you may have invented it because the the articles I read are not dating back 7 8 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, and literally like intentional solo individual vacations for self care. So
Yeah.
what you're doing is actually trendy and cool. And I have another friend who does the same thing. But I guess the whole theory is disconnect, right? I mean, if I'm going on a vacation, let me tell you, when I'm leaving, I'm stressed out. Did you get this? Did you get that? Did you pack that? Are you sure? Like, I'm a nagging mom worrying about 10 million things and then
Yeah.
all like in the car, where you're probably in the car, like, yeah, I'm good. I just forgot my underwear. Got to stop by the outlets and pick them up. So,
Yeah.
you know, I guess there's some theory in self care about, so you're just worrying about yourself.
Yeah.
It's the whole worry about yourself thing. And that you can go and you can, so if you're solo traveling, you're picking and choosing what you're wanting to do. You're not depending on another person. You're not feeling resentful because you're doing this and you'd rather do that, or how come it's where they want to eat, not where I want to eat. You're just tackling yourself. And you can
Yeah.
sit on the beach for as long as you want. It doesn't matter. You
Yeah.
can eat wherever you want. It doesn't matter. So from what I was reading, it's a thing, this
Yeah.
solo travel for self care.
Now, mine, Kathy, to be fair, is only I would call it semi intentional because I just happen to be single.
Yeah.
I don't say forget anybody else. I'm going
Right.
to be alone. I just happen to be single, and that's the other thing I wanted to talk about too was the whole, because we talked about it might have been either last week or the week before where we talked about the whole idea of going to the movies by yourself or going out to dinner by
Yeah.
yourself. Um, I now I will admit my circumstances are different. So I called myself an anomaly last week, and I am that in this regard, in that I'm so used to having time to alone and to myself that I don't think anything of it. I don't
Right.
think that I don't for one second worry about how I'm going to be viewed going to the movies. And here's the thing: the movies, I would say probably if I had to guess, and I've never really sat there and really paid attention, but I'm certainly not the only one that's in that theater alone at any time.
Sure.
There are
Yeah.
others, so it's not that's probably the least objectionable of the three, meaning going to the movies, going to dinner, and going on vacation alone. That's probably the one of the three, the one that most people would be more comfortable doing alone of those three.
Mhm.
So, but um, yeah, so it's become a thing. I stayed at the Plaza Hotel my first year. I have since become a Hyatt Rewards member because I did a trip to Ohio and I stayed at a Hyatt out there. And the girl at the desk asked me when I checked in, "Are you a Hyatt Rewards member?" And I'd never heard of it. So I
What
like,
do I get?
yeah. So I joined for it's free.
Yeah.
You basically get points for everything.
I do it with Marriott
Yeah, not just for Hyatt stuff, but like certain corresponding
restaurants.
restaurants around
Yeah.
Ocean City, and room services, all you accumulate points. And like usually every third year, I have enough points to get something substantial. And actually, this year was one of those years I ended up saving
Right.
like $600 on my trip
Hmm.
because I accumulated enough points to do that. So
Sure. Nice.
yeah, and they're actually building a second hotel where I stay is right on the boardwalk, but across whatever that street is, not Coastal Highway, the other street. But anyway, across the street, it's going to be called Hyatt West because
Mm.
it's a block west, and they'll have kind of different amenities. They were just starting to build that last year, so I'll be curious to see how far
I
along.
want to see your meals from Coastal Salt.
Oh yeah,
Need
that's the
pictures.
other
I've
thing.
never eaten there.
That's one of my traditions. The first when Phillips was still
Yeah.
open, that was my go-to because they're just 3 blocks up. So
Mhm.
I would do Phillips as my tradition for my first night there meal. Phillips closed a couple years ago, so of course I searched Google and I'd seen Coastal Salt because literally that's right next door.
Yeah.
It's part of the hotel that's next door to us. And I can't remember what hotel that is. I want to say it might be the Holiday Inn, but I started going there, and oh my gosh, it's every bit as good, if not better, than Phillips. It just didn't have the name
Okay.
recognition. It's just a smaller place. Food's
Nice.
so good, and last year, Kathy, they've started doing breakfast too.
Mm.
They just were just doing lunch and dinner previously. So oh my gosh, I mean it's all the kind of beach restaurant food, all the seafood, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's so stinking good.
Nice.
Um, so my thing is I go down. I'll leave here probably 9 o'clock Monday morning. And I'll get to the inlet about 10:30 or so. I stop at Royal Farms right there in Salisbury, right before you get into Salisbury. That fairly new Royal Farms,
Yep.
and I
I know
stop
what
and
you're
take my pee break and maybe grab a bottle of
talking
water
about.
or whatever, and then go the rest of the way.
Gotta go to Big Country Bakery in Cambridge. Gosh darn it, that is just good. You ever
Yeah.
been there?
Uh.
Oh my gosh, Jay. We gotta shout out Gina. Gina Clendaniel, whatever her last name is now, from high school. Gina has Big Country in Cambridge, and it is a good thing it's not in Easton because I would be on a very large weight loss program. But everything they do is fresh and homemade, and their breakfast sandwiches are delicious, like homemade croissants or buns, you know, and their donuts. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Best donut I've ever had in my life. You cannot beat Big Country Donuts
Oh.
ever. It's if you start it, it's a problem. Then
Right.
you're gonna want to find a reason to go there. But that's my tip advice for you. Anybody go to Bay Country, support Gina. She makes good
Yeah.
cakes too.
Yeah, I stopped in there in Salisbury because it's roughly halfway. It's kind of I can stretch my legs for a little bit and kind of go to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff, and
Because that's what we
you
do
know,
because we're old.
yeah, just well, but it's just it's just kind of like my routine. It's like
Hey, you can get yourself a hot tea at Rofo.
yeah, yep.
I did that the other night.
So then
Salisbury Rofo.
I get that.
Had to have some energy to come home.
I get to the inlets about 10:30, and I'll sit out there for about an hour, hour and a half. And it's
Jay,
so funny, Kathy.
make
Like
sure, you know what I need you to do? Belt and underwear, okay? Put that on the list.
oh, I lost you, Kathy.
Did you hear
Say
me?
that again because I lost you for a minute.
I said belt and underwear before you go to the inlet. I want to make sure you got your belt and your underwear, okay?
Yeah, I've got that was the very first thing on the
Good.
top of my
All
list.
right. Don't get too excited with your Birdwell beach britches on the inlet.
Yeah, it's so funny on a Monday morning at I get there at about 10:30. That whole inlet parking lot is empty. Like
Oh
there might
wow.
be 10 cars in the whole parking lot.
Hmm.
It's so empty.
So you park at the inlet and then you go to the beach right there.
Right at the end because I can't check in yet. So
You know what we do? You know what we have loved doing is we go, okay, so if you're coming in on 50, right? We go park straight. We go straight in, or we can either we go straight or we go right in that block by Quiet Storm
uh-huh.
because you have those huge bathrooms, and then we love Quiet Storm. The beach is humongous there, and there's a lot of food there. That's what we do.
Right.
So we don't go all the way, but you can walk down to the inlet. You can walk down to Thrashers and all that, but
Yeah.
we like it better a little bit up, a little bit further because
Yeah.
his bathrooms are nicer.
Yeah.
And
But it's quiet. There's like I'll stay till about lunchtime and then I'll walk up and I'll go to dough roller and I'll
oh,
grab whatever something I like Thrasher's fries, but it's just not to me. It's not like a Monday lunch kind of.
you know
It's more
what
like
we do? We go get our Thrashers and literally take it to the dough roller and eat it in there. They said people do it all the time. And then I got my pizza, my Thrashers, and a piece of chicken.
right.
It's odd, I know, but I got all of it. Because they had that chicken from, gosh, whose chicken was it? There was another fried chicken place. And I don't usually eat fried chicken, but whatever they have there is good.
And I'll sit there and people watch for a little while in that little those tables right in between the buildings. And watch people while I eat my lunch real quick, and then I'll run back to West Ocean City over to the Tanger outlets and run over to. I usually just go to Under Armour and look for maybe a new shirt for work or something a new cool T-shirt or whatever. Um,
You got your Under Armour on right now.
yeah, I'm so Under Armoured out. And then it's about time. Being a rewards member, I can do early check in.
Mm.
So then about that time, my room's ready, and I'll go over and check in, and then I'll do like my first walk of the boardwalk, just kind of walk up a few blocks, and I'm curious to see how far along on the new Margaritaville hotel they are.
Wait, are they have they started it?
They last year when I was down there, they were just starting to clear the old buildings away. It's actually 2 blocks wide, Kathy. It's crazy.
Okay, I need a full blown report when you get back. You got it? Like
Yep.
I will go nuts when that's done because
And that's just 2 or 3 blocks up from where I stay. It's like on 13th Street, so it's
I
right
am
there.
such a huge Jimmy Buffett fan. We're big Buffett fans. That's one man that I miss in
I'll
this.
take a picture when I get down, and I'll take a picture of whatever progress they are, and show you. You can see the sign. They show you the sign with what it's going to look
Really?
like. Yeah,
I need everything. I need a video. I need a report. I need it
but
all.
there was an old iconic hotel that they tore down as part of that. I can't remember the name of it.
Was that the one that had the Paul Revere's smorgasbord in it?
It
No.
was like it looked like it was from the '60s, whatever name it was. But yes, maybe. But yeah, it's actually 2 blocks. It's big. They like bought 2 blocks worth of space to do this thing. Um,
I'm excited about that. I hope it does well.
And I like the area that I stay because there's so much within walking distance. I get there Monday and I park my car in the underground parking, and I don't move my car until it's time to leave
Nice.
later in the week. Because I'm Coastal Salt's right next door. There's an Italian restaurant that's actually part of the hotel.
Hmm.
There's just everything I want to do. There's a putt putt golf course like 2 blocks up that I'll go to. I usually play
Nice.
putt putt once. Um, yeah, you know, it's not a 5-star hotel, but it's probably a good solid 4-star. It's not real big, but I mean,
So
Hyatt's
one
got a good.
year when my life's not crazy, which maybe after this year it won't be, I'm gonna come down and crash your party, and I'm gonna beat you at putt putt, and I'm gonna go eat at Coastal Salt. It's gonna happen. We're gonna have the podcast from the beach. I'm
Yeah,
coming down.
that would actually be kind of cool.
I'm gonna invade your vacation time. Mark it for next year.
But this year's been funny because I've been doing so much work on the expo that my mind has not really been on Ocean City until maybe the last couple weeks when it's
No, I get
real.
it because we go away in a month, and the same thing. I can't even think about it. I'm not even thinking about it, and which is going to get me in trouble because I am going away and out of the country, and I need to start thinking about that. But I'm just not there.
But it's strange and it's funny. Normally, our routine is that I will message Cathy on Tuesday mornings and say going live 5:30 this evening with topic da 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 da.
Because he knows I need it. He knows I need the reminders.
And she'll say, "Yep, okay, got it." So this morning I'm sitting there and I'm actually going over my list of things I need to pack to go on to leave Monday morning. And Cathy texts me and says, "I'm ready anytime you're ready." And I had completely forgotten that we were doing a podcast this morning. And I'm like, shit. So so then I had to hurry up, eat my breakfast, and grab a quick shower and all that good stuff. So Kathy, we turned the tables this morning, and Kathy had to remind me.
Yeah,
Um,
that never happens ever.
that's I think that might be the first time in the
First
history of the
time in
podcast.
60 how many podcasts? Yeah.
66 episodes.
66 isn't it? Route 66. You
Yeah.
forgot on Route 66. You forgot it.
So I think, and I got to thinking about this when I decided a while back because we had to kind of schedule around both of our vacations to record, like what vacations mean to us just in general, and it's going to be different for everybody. But I mean, vacations are kind of that big ticket item for self care. They're the whether you go for
Yes.
a quick weekend or whether you stay for a week or whatever. It's on the far end of the scale of like time consuming and expensive as far as expenses go. That's the one of the, if not the big ticket item for self care. But those things matter. Just kind of the idea of just getting away um, to kind of clear your head and like we talked about before, Kathy, change your environment, change your surroundings, and just wherever you go. It doesn't have to it could be the mountains to go skiing or on a cruise or whatever. It just kind of your mindset just kind of naturally shifts.
Well, I got an article. Vacations are a significant form of self care. So, what I will say first is all you said is accurate. And I think people are really people go very peoply, right? I know people that are like, they think
Who was that? Depeche Mode. People are people.
people are people. Maybe that's what it was about. The people, yeah. Yes. Anyway, I feel like there's people that get it and they do vacation and they do their thing, and there's people that I think they think that their value is so much of working and taking care of things that I wonder if there's a group of people that think taking vacations almost in a way is a little selfish for them. Like I don't have time, or I mean, I know people that never vacation and I'm like, man, that would not be good for my mental health. But you know, it's just very important. And like you said, it doesn't have to be what you do or what I do. It can be something else. But and people take those staycations at home, and I'm gonna tell you what, a staycation at home for me is no vacation. That is hard freaking work, because if I'm taking off vacation days and I'm home, I'm working. I'm probably working harder than I would if I was at work. So be careful of that trap. Maybe you're good in discipline and you can really do that well. I cannot do that well. But here's the thing about self care and vacations. Obviously, reduces stress, can improve well being, boost your mood, give you opportunities for personal growth and creativity, and it even can help you sleep better. So, if you're doing this right, like you did this morning, I think it's amazing that you forgot about the podcast. I think that's great because you've already got your brain into that peace and tranquility and trying to not think about work and routines. You're thinking about yourself. And I'm so glad that that happened to you, actually. It's probably hard for you because you're so particular and you want,
Yes.
but
I
I'm
was
glad
mad at myself for a minute.
I'm glad that happened to you, and I love how you reacted about it. But there's stress reduction. You know, you're away from your stress. I can't say that today; it's too early. Improved sense of well-being, opportunity for self-discovery. You know, like you can go sit on that beach and you can have some time with your own brain. You know, and do
Yep.
some deep work and think about things, maybe repurpose things. You're obviously we're relaxing. Hopefully, I don't actually know. I shouldn't say that. When I'm on my trips, I'm running Mach 10, and I have to come home to relax from my vacation. But a lot of us, if we're out on vacation, we are going to touch nature at some point. You know, you're at the ocean. Some people may be on the water. Some people may be in new places. I mean, how cool is it for people that are exploring? You know, they're wherever you are, you know, Vegas, and then you go sneak to the Grand Canyon, or you're, you know, in, I'm thinking of South Carolina right now. And there's palm trees. You get a little closer to tropics, but
Hmm.
it's South Carolina for us is not hugely that far. You know, whatever you can do to touch with nature and just, it's about you, right? It's about and I think having experiences while you're on vacation. You know, you go down and get a nice meal, or some people may do a spa day, or try something completely new, or catch up on sleep that we all struggle with because we're so busy and our brain is working so hard. But vacations are a significant self-care event, and if you're somebody that's listening and you're making some excuses on why you can't do it, I really hope that you sit and think about that. And if money's a barrier, it's okay. There's you better call me and Jay because we're going to give you some vacations you can do that don't cost you that much. But
Yep.
think out of the box and do something for you. Get away from all of the noise.
Yeah.
All of the noise.
Just change your surroundings, change your environment.
Yeah.
Just even if it's just for a day or a weekend or whatever.
You
Just
got to break it. You got to break the cycle, right? I mean, I could tomorrow get in my camper by myself if I had to and go somewhere and be perfectly content. I mean, you know, Marty and I were talking about it this morning, and I said, I am one of those people like yourself. I don't do it, but I could go away by myself and be okay. Not everybody can do that, and people maybe wouldn't be comfortable or feel like they need somebody else, but
that's a whole different topic. Yeah.
that's a whole different topic. But I could easily do it and be like, yeah, I'm worrying about me. But anyway, whatever your choice is, it's your with your kids, your parents, your best friend, your neighbor, your stranger in the elevator, whatever it is, enjoy it. Just take a breath, breathe, touch nature, look at the beach, look at the water, look at the lake, wherever you are, and just regroup, reset, and
And
breathe.
just how Kathy, like I said earlier, how the routine of going to the beach every year came about for the same exact reasons as the Friday night movies did, and it's the same thing. It's not so much now because I literally live less than a mile from the theater where I live, so I don't have time for my body to feel my body. Before I was 15 minutes away, so I could feel my body change as I was driving to the movies. Same thing will happen Monday morning when because I throw some drinks in a cooler for the beach, my first beach morning, and I'll stop by Wawa and grab a bag of ice and throw in the cooler and get my drinks cold by the time I get to the beach. But when I leave Wawa and I'm heading down 50, after a few minutes, I can feel my body literally just kind of like it's like this big exhale. Like, okay, I'm going to this wonderful place that I love going to every year, and it just you know just literally changing the things you see, just your surroundings and your
Yeah.
environment. Just your mind just it can't help but go to a better place. And you know, you and I are both beach people, but it's just, and I'm not one, Kathy, that actually sits on the beach for long stretches of time. Number one, because I get antsy.
Yeah.
So like I'll
I can
do
imagine that with you.
I do maybe an hour, hour and a half
My
every
boys
morning.
are like that too. They get fidgety on that dang beach. Now I
Now
could sit
I will say when I went to Hilton Head, it was different because down there the water's so warm
there.
and
Mm,
it's just rolling waves. It's not crashing.
yeah.
It's not Ocean City is not a swimmer friendly beach. It's just as far as getting in the water.
Well,
You
you're on the
can,
ocean.
yeah. And people do, but it's more a surfer's type of beach than it is a swimmer. Whereas Hilton Head is, I could have stayed out there all day because you can go out 100 yards and still only be waist deep, and there you can throw the football and do all you can do activities in the water. You can't really do that in Ocean City. Um, but besides getting antsy, like my meds won't allow me to be out in the sun for
Oh yeah.
even with sunscreen on. I've got to kind of limit my
Hmm.
long periods of time out. I just like the whole vibe of the beach. I actually, one of my favorite things is in the evenings when I get done eating dinner. It's nice because by that time the sun has dropped down enough where you can walk the boardwalk and be in the shade the whole time and be out of the sun. Where it's although it doesn't really get real hot. It'll probably be 75 the whole time I'm down there. But I like going out and walking the beach in the evenings after dinner when nobody's on the beach, just
I love
barefoot.
that time, and the sun's behind you.
Yep.
Yeah, I know exactly what
Just
you're.
walking, just kind of look around and see if you see any kind of interesting seashells or whatever. Just kind of getting your like ankles deep in the water. You know what I mean? Just kind of strolling and just kind of take a leisurely stroll. I probably spend as much or more time doing that than I do lounging on the beach in the mornings. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you something, Jay. Now this would mean you would have to drive. Are you a little bit of a history buff
A little
or
bit, yeah, a little
Titanic and
bit,
all that? A friend of mine at work told me about this, and I went last year and I was so excited. It's called Discover Sea, all one word, Shipwreck Museum. And they have a website, discoversea.com. And it's free to go in. You could leave a donation. But that museum is unbelievable. It's small and it's in Fenwick. It's 708 Coastal Highway, Fenwick, Delaware. So you would have to drive, I guess, or,
yeah,
or take the bus. But it's above like one of those shell shops.
uh-huh,
Never in a million years would have gone in there. Wouldn't even thought about it. I've
yeah.
probably seen it. So
Doesn't look like a museum, yeah,
you go in the shell shop and then you go up these stairs and the whole top is this museum. So this guy is unbelievable. He does dives himself and digs, and he's got displays all over. And like, there's a big Titanic piece of it. He's got all these pieces to the freaking Titanic, and I'm just like, what? Like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe what I was seeing with my eyes. And then he had other shipwreck stuff, and then listening to him talk to people, I'm like, I waited in line, and there wasn't that many people in there, but I waited to like talk to him about what is this like real? Like what? And he loans stuff out all over the globe,
mm,
like to museums, the Smithsonian.
yeah,
And I'm like, how is this little gem right here? And people don't know about it, and you can leave a donation. And then he was even telling me he was part of a dig on the line of Caroline County and Talbot, where he found a Harriet Tubman ticket. He
uh,
was part of a dig that. How cool is that?
yeah,
And he was loaning that to to Smithsonian as well. But anyway, it's if you're like a bit of a person that likes a little history like that, this is a really cool place to
yeah.
go. And
It
you
would
didn't
be
even have
kind
to
of
do.
interesting. Maybe I'll do that this year, Kathy. I'll search like hidden gems in Ocean City and do that
I'm
kind of
gonna
thing.
literally send you this because I couldn't believe it. And he switches up some of the stuff too. Like he had cups, broken cups from the Titanic. He had like a door. I mean, I just thought it was amazing. And he'll buy stuff from other people, obviously.
Yeah.
He doesn't find it all himself, but man, it was cool. It's just really cool.
I want to when you're about to go on your vacation next month, when we
Yeah.
do when we record early for that one, I want to get into, like, because obviously there's a difference between someone going solo on a vacation and a family vacation.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
because for you guys, it's like you got four boys, and they some of them may or may not bring their significant others, and your parents are along, and so you have
We
a
got
large
a
group.
crew. We got a
Yes.
large group, and we're
So
going with two. So it's our family, and then there's two other couple groups with kids. So it's gonna
it's
be
probably 20
it's
ish
gonna
people.
be a it's hang
And,
on.
and, and, and and there's not a right or wrong, but it's a different. And I've obviously I go on vacation alone now, but I've also gone with others on their family vacation, and it was weird for me. It was
15
different.
people. We have 15 of us.
It was I have to say, for me, because it's not something that I was used to. Now, if it had become routine and I kept doing that with them, it may have I may have kind of blended in. But I didn't feel as relaxed because there's so much going on. Like, we would get up in the morning and make meals so that we wouldn't have to leave the beach. We could sit on the beach and eat lunch and not have to go get lunch and set the tent up, and so it was a whole ordeal every month. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not as relaxing as I'm used to. It's not wrong. It's just that's their
Yeah.
way. And again, if I had gone multiple times, it may have, that feeling may have kind of, but it's just different.
Well, yeah, and we can get when we camp, it can be like that. There's a lot of prep and a lot of takedown to
Yeah,
be able to get to having a relaxing vacation. But yeah, we
yeah.
can talk about some of that stuff.
As I'm thinking about, Cathy, there's probably several layers in between. Like, there's someone like myself who goes by themselves. Then there's maybe just a married couple that goes and does. So there's probably steps in between 1 and 15, obviously,
Yeah.
um, and there's value in all of them. There's not a right or wrong in
And you
any of
can't
this.
travel with everybody. I mean, all
Right.
of your people are not people that you're going to be aligned with travel, which is okay. You got to find your travel people that can
Right.
handle you and you can handle them.
And, like, I could see, like, people have destination weddings where you're basically doing a vacation with, like, everybody that's at your wedding.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's a whole different thing. But yet it is, while you're there for a specific reason, you're getting married, but you're probably at a vacation destination of some kind. So
You know what I like about traveling with like a group is just the crazy, stupid, dumb things that happen, and that'll be something that you pee your pants laughing over, and it comes up at other times during the year where and like we'll take pictures and then I'll make a little sticker out of it. So maybe it's like November and everybody's stressed out, and I'll send that little sticker out and try to make people laugh in a group text. But there's just when you travel like that, there's just dumb stuff that happens that is just hilarious to me, and that is what makes my travel. I can go wherever, but it's the funny things that happen with people that stick with me.
yeah. So before we get out of here, we're going to talk real quick just about what we watched. I just want to talk real quick before, because I got to go.
Yep, you gotta go. You got a
Yep.
trip to plan for.
I watched John Wick's Ballerina and really liked it. So if you guys get a chance, go check it out.
Well, that was the most unimpressive movie review that you've ever given in 66 episodes there, Jay.
All right,
I've,
guys. So
I've watched nothing. I've watched nothing. Just Oriole games, and we're winning again. Yay!
yeah.
Let's keep winning Orioles, but nothing on TV. So,
So thanks, guys, for checking out this quick episode.
because Jay's got to
We'll,
go.
we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on Eastern Shore Talk. Take care, guys.